Euphoria. That's a really cool name. This brand wins the naming contest. That's the coolest name ever, Euphoria. This is an EA1.600 monoblock amplifier, 600 watts into 1 ohm, 300 watts into 2 ohm, 150 watts into 4 ohms. Let's crack it open. You've got a bass knob, a nice long cable for it, screws, Allen keys, and here you have a decal. It's about 8 inches this way, about 5 inches this way, and about 2 1/4 inches this. First thing that jumps out at me is all the connections and controls are all on the same side. I kind of like that. Going through all the connections, looks like 4H power and ground, and the speaker connections are huge as well. Those look to be close to 4 gauge. Has a power and a protect light, a low pass filter, and a subsonic, also known as an infrasonic filter. This is what you use when you have a ported enclosure to take out the extreme low frequency so you don't have over excursion in your subwoofer. Connection for the bass knob. This is the bass boost. This is the input level. And then it has a 1x 10x mode, which is peculiar. It'll be interesting to see what that's about. And of course on the other side, there's nothing but the name and the logo. Let's get it wired up and fired up and find out how much power it makes. We'll start with the 1 ohm test. If you're not familiar with the test procedure, the device on the right is an SMD DD1+. It's going to light up when we hit 1% total harmonic distortion. We get 167 watts, just a little bit more than the 150 watt 4 ohm power rating. That's what we want to see. We want to see amps that can beat their rated power by just a hair. Next, we're going to turn it up to clipping. We get a solid 280 watts. Before we move on to the 2 ohm test, why don't we take this thing apart and take a look at the guts. There's an extra step to get the back plate off. There are 4 small mounting tabs on the bottom. Those got to come off first before you can crack open the back and see what's going on inside. While we're checking out the amp guts, I want to say thank you to all of my patrons, with a big bonus shout out to $25 and up patrons B, Hutch, Bo, Brian, and Jeff. In addition to getting their name in the video, patrons get behind the scenes access. They know what's happening before anybody else does. Patrons, for example, were the first people to get to test out the new box builder tool that you can find on my website, DIYaudioguy.com. If you find the content that I produce to be valuable, I would appreciate it if you'd head over to Patreon and sign up today. You can join for as little as $3 a month, and there is a discount if you'll pay for a year up front. This thing is rated for 300 watts at 2 ohms. Let's see if it can make the power. Yes, it can. That's exactly what we want to see. 379 watts at 2 ohms at 1% THD, well above their rated power. Now let's run it up to clipping and see what we get. Bingo, 435 watts at clipping. Fantastic performance. But there is a problem that I need to address before I move on to the 1 ohm test, and that problem is this little button here on the end. It's labeled 1x/10x, and the owner's manual doesn't tell you anything about what that is and what it does. I have a theory about what it is and what it does. I'll share the theory with you, and I would love to know what you think about my theory down in the comments. Many amplifiers can accept high-level or low-level inputs. Low-level inputs would be the RCAs, and the high-level inputs usually comes in the form of a pigtail that you can plug into the amplifier. Then you can run speaker wire from your head unit into that high-level input. I've also seen amplifiers that have a switch but no separate terminal for the high-level inputs. For those amplifiers, you would buy some RCA pigtails and then wire your speaker wire into the RCA pigtails, then select 1x on the switch. But that's mere speculation because the owner's manual doesn't say what it is. I can tell you that when it was in 1x mode with RCAs plugged in, that I didn't get any signal out of the amplifier. So shame on you, Euphoria, for leaving information out of the owner's manual. Let's check out the 1 ohm power. Unfortunately, it fell just a little bit short. Let's see what it does at clipping. 871 watts at clipping. That's pretty good for a 600 watt amplifier. Next, we're going to test it out on music, but before I do that, I want to say thank you to Designer Motorsports for sending this amplifier out to test. You can hit the link down in the video description. It'll take you to Designer Motorsports, where they've got a ton of car audio gear. Next up, I'm going to try a 40 hertz test tone on a speaker. This is an 18-inch subwoofer that I got from Down for Sound. You'll notice that we have some impedance rise. I'm running around 5 ohms, and it's making well over its 4 ohm rated power at this 5 ohm load. Let's give it a try on some music and see what kind of numbers we can put up while we're dropping some bass. I apologize for the audio in this clip. All you can really hear is everything in the garage rattling, the garage door, the walls, all of my tools. This little 600 watt amp really shook things up. Overall, I think it's a solid amplifier. I like the look and I like the big heatsink on the amplifier, so it gets a thumbs up for the overall design aesthetic. I like amplifiers that have all the connections on one side. In some installs, you just need them all on one side. It makes the install easier, so it's good to have access to amplifiers with different layouts. The amplifier made its rated power most of the time. It just barely fell short at that 1 ohm THD test, but then it did well over 800 watts at clipping. The one thing I don't like about the amplifier really is a minor nitpick. There's nothing in the owner's manual explaining what that 1X 10X switch does. But overall, I think it's a solid amplifier. Click right up here to see some more amp dynos. I'm Justin, this is the DIY Audio Guy YouTube channel, and I will see you on the next adventure.